Hello guys, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah and I'm so happy to have you on board. This is lesson 6 on Pandas and we are going to discuss how to analyze data in Pandas. But then before we begin, if it's your first time to get into this channel, please consider subscribing, like and share the video to your friends, and to the returning subscribers, thank you very much for your continuous support. So guys, basically one of the most used method for getting a quick overview of the data frame is the head method. Now guys, basically the head method returns the headers and a specified number of rows starting from the top. Like I want to show you guys an example how to get a quick overview by printing perhaps the first 10 rows of the data frame. Basically guys, I have a CSV files in my documents. Perhaps let me show you. It is in this C drive, users, Nehemiah Wekesa, and then pandas, and then I have here a JSON file and also a CSV files. Let me open for you a CSV files, and then I guess basically you can see I have some records here, some data here. And so what I'm gonna do guys, I want to print the first 10 words. So what I do, to this Jupyter notebook, in this cell I'm gonna import first of all the module, which is Pandas is an alias PD alias, and then what is let me say df, then let me assign it to basically df for data frame. You can give it any variable name, and then here let me say pd dot read underscore CSV, and then guys, here I'm gonna copy the file path. I'm gonna copy the file path of this CSV file, and then what I do in these rounded brackets, let me paste it here, let me paste it there, sorry, it is Control plus V. Then let me add a pair of forward slash here, sorry, should be a pair of forward slash, again here a pair, and then here a pair of slashes, also here a pair of slashes here. And then what I do guys, here to the print function I'm gonna add another method. Let me say print, then I'm gonna add this method here. First of all, define the object there, basically the variable, which is df, and then head, and then now let's define the number of cells that we want to return, basically the number of rows, which is, let me say 10. Guys, I see that this head method returns the header and specified number of rows starting from the top. So what I do, let me run the codes. And so guys, basically this is how we can get a quick overview by printing the first 10 rows of the data frame. Remember, indexing begin from 0, that's why it ascended to 9. Basically 0 is like 1, then 9 is like 10, so we have the 10 rows. But then remember I told you that the head method returns the header and specified the number of rows. We specified the 10, that's why it returned 10 rows. But then guys, if you do not specify the number of rows here, then by default it will return the first basically the top 5 rows. Like let me delete these 10 here, then let me run the codes, and then guys, basically you can see by default it returns them the first 5 rows. So guys, basically there's also a tail method for viewing the last rows of the data frame. So guys, basically the tail method returns the header and a specified number of rows starting from the bottom. Now this one is just the opposite of the head. Like let's print the first the last 5 rows of the data frame. So what I do, let me just write tail method, then let me run the codes, and then guys, basically you can see, let me open the CSV files here so that you can see that and basically we have these values here, and then it reach 170 or whatever, 170 or so. And so guys, basically let's talk about the info about the data. So guys, basically the data frames object has a method called info method that gives you more information about the data set. like guys, what I do, let me add this info, the method here called info, just like that. And then let me run the codes. And so guys, basically this is how we can obtain the information about the data here. And basically you can see the range index is 169 entries from 0 to 168. Basically indexing begin from 0, so 0 is like 1, and then 168 is like 169. Then the data column is a total of 4 columns, and basically when you check on your data frame, and basically we have 4 columns. And then what else? We have the columns, null value, and then account, then the data type. And then basically guys, you can see that we have the duration, which we have 169 null values. It is integer data type. And then a pulse is 169 null value. It is also the integers. Basically when you check, it is the integers here. Absolutely, they are integers. And then what is the calories? These are floats. And then we have 164 entries, and then which means that we have around what, from 169 minus 164, we have around 5 missing values in the cells. And then the data type is float. Then the data types, we have the float we have 1, then the integers we have 3 columns. Then the memory usage is 5.4 kilobytes. So guys, basically we have the null values here, as you can see. So let's talk about the null values in a few. So guys, basically the info method also tells us how many null values are present in each column. And in our data set, it seems like there are 164 null values in these calories column, which means that there are 5 rows with no values at all in the calories column for whatever reason. Like let me show you guys. In this calorie column, you can see we have an empty cell here. Where else, guys, we have empty cells here. We have another empty cell. We also have another empty cell here. And then there are a total of 5 empty cells. So guys, which means that these are empty values. They are 5, and basically guys, they are null values. And then guys, remember that the null values can be very bad when analyzing data, and you should consider removing the rows with empty cells. So basically this is a setup towards what is called cleaning data, and we will learn more about this in the next tutorial. So guys, basically this is what I wanted to show you in this Pandas analyzing data, and I think you've gained something. Please consider subscribing, like, and share the video to your friends. Until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye.